Session 3 is a little different than session 1 and 2, where it's going to be where we have to show a little bit more of our work. And I think we're going to take one little problem and do a bunch of things with it. So we're on page 29 now. And we're going to get a whole bunch of information on this front page. And we're going to make notes to it so that we know how to use it. And there's going to be a couple things that I'm going to have you, again, pause and try on your own. And all this information here is going to be used for all 5 of the problems, just like it will be when you take the math test. So read the problem to yourself. I want you to just pause the screen and read it to yourself first. So now that you've read it, you can see there's some different things we should mark on it. There's some obvious things you're going to start with. Whenever you're given a table, what do you think we're probably going to do with that? Yeah, constant of proportionality. So we know we're going to be finding that. The car wash payments we're going to be using later on, not right now. But they just gave us all the information at once. So let's start going through and just make, and this is what you do. When you have a problem, you just start making notes to yourself. So I want you to find the constant proportionality. And I want you to check to see if it works for every single one of them. See what that value is. Go ahead and pause it and do that right now if you haven't already. So you took 1/8 divided by 1/2, and 3/8 divided by 1 1/2, and 3/4 divided by 3. If you haven't, do that now. So now we're going to find out what those values are on our calculator. And what did you notice? That's right, they're all 1/4. Now on your calculator, you might have got a 0.25. Those are equivalent, 1/4 and 0.25, depending on what you're doing as far as what you want to do. Okay? Now let's read the first question. Notice we haven't even read the first question. We're just reading the information. It talks about the car wash payments down here. And again, we will come back to that. That will come up on another problem. Okay, so question number 1. Using the water and soap mixture table to answer the question. Reed puts 8 gallons of water in the bucket. Okay, so 8 gallons of water. Oh, that's the other thing. Before we go any further, what does this mean? Okay, remember your constant proportionality means 1 to 1/4. So what does that mean? Let's actually say that. That means 1 gallon of water and 1/4 cup of soap. Okay, so 1 gallon of water for 1/4 cup of soap. That's our constant, is 1/4, and that's because it's 1 over on the water, gallons of water. Okay, so we have 8 gallons. So what I did is I just added an 8 down here, and I said if I have 8 gallons, how much is that going to fit? How much is that going to cost? So what am I going to do to the 8? Right, I'm going to multiply times 1/4. So multiply times 1/4, and we get 2. He uses a value to determine how many cups of soap, and we already got our answer, don't we? Because we used our constant proportionality. Who knew this was going to be so handy and wonderful? There we go. Good thing we learned all that first semester. Now this page at first kind of scared me. It's like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do with all this? And what it says is Reed represents a unit rate in terms of cups of soap per gallon of water. Justify that the quantity of soap and water listed in the table are proportional. Remember what we do here? We have to show that this is proportional. Guess what? We've already done the work. We just have to write this out. Okay, so we're going to show our work and show that they all come out to be 1/4. So take all this, pause it, go to the other side, and do that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my picture right here, pause. You go to the next page, and then you can see what you have to show is that constant proportionality. Go. Okay, so justify that the quantities listed are proportional. So we've shown that all of them are equal. But in order to actually justify, we're going to have to write a statement. So we're going to say that, that the relationship between soap and water is proportional. And you don't have to use my exact words, but you're going to say something about that it is proportional. And the reason I know this is because when I went to find the constant proportionality, it is 1/4, which is the same for all of them. Okay, that's what you're going for. Okay? So if you want to write that out, I'll keep writing mine. Yeah, that's good. The constant proportionality is the same, 1/4 for each, so it is proportional. So it is proportional. I might have given too much information, but usually you can't say too much on this. Okay, good. So on question number 3, it's going to give us some more information to go off. And I just went ahead and wrote down 1 gallon water, 1/4 cup soap, because I saw this problem dealt with it. And that's just easier if I have it on this page so I don't have to keep looking back. So we're going to look at that. If you haven't already, pause and read this one. Okay, so we see that we're talking about 5 gallons of water. So what I did is I went ahead and said corresponding amount of soap. Well, 5 gallons times 1/4 turns out to be 1 1/4 cups, okay, of soap. And I don't know if we're going to need that, but I'm just making notes to myself. She then adds more water. Select 2 statements that are true about the amount of water and soap that she needs to use. Okay, so that's what we have to keep in our mind. When she adds 1 more gallon of water, she needs to add an amount of soap between 1/8 and 3/8 of a cup. Okay, so we know that there's 1 gallon is 1/4 of a cup, but they're saying between 1/8 and 3/8. So look at that. If I have 1/8 and I have 3/8, look at 1/4 for a second. If I want to rewrite 1/4 with a denominator of 8, 4 times 2 is 8, so 2 times 1, so 2/8. So 1/4 is 2/8. So is 1/4 between these two? Yes, it is. So if I add 1 more gallon, I know I'm going to add 1/4 more soap. They ask it in a weird way, which is very common in map testing, it seems like. When she adds 2 more gallons of water, she adds 1.5 of the amount of soap she already put in. Oh my gosh. No, if she adds 2 more gallons, she wants to add 1/4 plus 1/4. That's only 1/2. That's way too much, so that's not going to work. When she adds 3 more gallons of water, she adds 3/4 the amount of soap she has already put in. Okay, wait, no. Not 3/4 of what she's already put in. She would have to add 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. Again, tricky questions. It looks like she's adding 1/4, but notice what it says. Read the entire thing. Add 3/4 the amount of shit she's already put in. Okay, so not that. Not that one. If they would have just asked how much more, we would have said 3/4 cup, but they said of already she put in. Nope. When she doubles the amount of water, she must double the amount of soap in the 5 gallons she started with. Yes, because if she doubles the water, she has to double the soap. Double the water, double the soap. So if I double it to 10 gallons or to 2, whatever, I'm going to have to double the soap. Hey, and I think we have our 2, but let's just double check. When she doubles the amount of water, she should add twice as much soap as she already put in. They keep on tricking us with this already put in. Don't fall for it, okay? So you have to read all the words. Don't go through these quickly. Remember time. Use your time. Okay, number 4. Read it if you haven't already. So the first thing I'm doing is it's talking about the payments. So what they were paid. So what I did is I brought the payments from the other page over so that I could refer to those. Okay. So, estimate, they want to estimate, Jen and Reed, how much money they will earn if they have 100 cars. That's 100, not 10. Which statement, so just one, explains whether the 7 payments in the list are representative samples of payments they will receive. Now remember, they also said that you can pay whatever. Let's look back at that page for just 1 second. Where'd it go? Hold on. So it says that you can pay a minimum of 5, but people can pay more to help the jazz band. Here are the 7 pages. And notice they said that the person who paid the 20 and 25 are both parents. So one parent paid 20. They're helping their kid out. Okay, so that's not exactly the norm. That would kind of be the exception than the rule. Notice the minimum is $5. So there's going to be a lot of people like, oh, $5, I'll pay some kid to do that. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're reading this problem. So Let's go through them. The list is a representative sample because it contains a wide range of possible values. When they talk about a sample, this is a statistics thing that says if we have a sample, if anybody's ever been surveyed, they survey a small group of people and then they make generalizations about the large group of people. So a sample just means we've taken a few. So like in a class of 20, I might ask 5 of you if you all want a piece of gum. From those 5, I'll decide what I think the whole class would want to do instead of asking everybody. That's just an example of what a sample is. So here we go. The list is a representative sample. Does it represent what most people will do? It contains a wide possible, well, it does, wide possible, but remember, these are parents. So that's not exactly a fair representation. Okay? So A doesn't actually work. The list is a representative sample because the first 7 payments could have been made by anyone. They could have been, but we know who 2 of these were. The 20 and 25 were made by parents. C, the list is not a representative because 7 is less than 10% of 100, and a representative sample should be at least 10% of the total. See, that was one I didn't know, but I don't think that's true. So I said no. And also, here's what I did. I left that one as a possibility. I went to D and see if that answered it better. The list is not a representative sample because they will probably not get a proportional amount of payments from parents in the first 100, okay? And this is going along with what it's saying. They're not going to get a proportional amount among parents. Well, it could be that one parent only has $5 on them, so that's all they pay. Whereas another parent wants to, both parents want to support their kids, but one only has $5 cash. The other one has a 20, so they give them a 20. So that's the reason this is it, because the parents are going to throw off what those first 100 payments are. This is a better answer. And since I didn't know if mathematically that was correct or not, I read the other one to check. And this gives a better answer. Okay? Good. Let's go to number 5. Oh, we have a blank sheet again, but don't worry, we've got this one figured out. Jenna finds the mean. Remember we talked about this in session 1. To find the mean, that is the average. So we're going to find the average. And remember, we add, first thing is we add all the data, which are usually numbers, and then we divide by the number of data. So we're going to add all the numbers up and divide by however many numbers there are, okay? So what I'm going to do to help you out is I'm going to pull the numbers up again of 5, 6, 10, 10, 15, 20, and 25. So this is what we have. These are our first 7. So I want you to pause it right now and go find the average for Jenna, okay? Jenna says she's going to use the first 7. Reed is going to remove the 20 and the 25. So I just wanted to refresh your memory, make sure you were doing fine on this. So for Jenna, you added all of those up and you got 91. Now you're going to take 91 and divide it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you get $13, right? Okay, so now I want you to do it for Reed. Pause yours again. And remember, Reed is cutting off 20 and 25. He's cutting those 2 off. Okay, go find the average for Reed. Go. So with Reed, when you added it, you got $46, and you're going to take 46, and you're going to divide by 5, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of data. And here you're going to get $9.20. Okay, so then what does it say? So we found the average. Now it says, use them to find out an estimate of what we would get for 100 cars. Okay, estimate for 100 cars. So what do you think you're going to do there? Try it. So you're going to take $13 at Jenna's average times 100. You're going to take $9.20 times 100. That was Reed's, and get $920. Is that all they want us to know? Let's go back up and read again. Use the mean to find an estimate. If watch by how much is Jenna's estimate greater than Reed's estimate, show or explain all your work. So we've showed our work and we're going to explain it. So when it says show or explain, if you don't want to show all this, you at least have to write out everything for it and explain it. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1,300, which is Jenna's, subtract off 920, which is Reed's, and we get $380. I am going to make a statement at the end, and I might say something about that Jenna's average is $13 and Reed's is $9.20. Then Jenna's estimate for 100 car washes, cars, is $1,300, and Reed's is $920. So Jenna's estimate, sorry, is $380 more than Reed's. So why am I writing all this? Because I would rather be safe than sorry. And I have sometimes not written enough when I should have written more. So if I give them too much, they can't take off points. So that's the reason I write out everything once I'm all done and I've showed all my work. So that's what I would do. Okay, last question. And the last one's actually the easiest. It says, use the water and soap mixture table to answer the question. Once again, plot 5 points. We need 5 points. The 5 points would be this. 1 point for each row in the table. Let's bring that table back up. I'm just going to show you my table again. Okay, so here's my table. I need to have 1 point for each one of these. So I'm going to have these points. And then I need to have 1 point to represent the unit rate. Well, bonus, we already did that too. That's the reason if you do this stuff ahead of time, you're going to use it usually someplace. And 1 point to represent the number of cups that should be used in 0 gallons. That's what we haven't done yet. I think you can figure that out. If I have 0 gallons, how many cups of soap do I need? Yeah, hello, no brainer there, 0. Okay, but because it's showing that it's proportional, it has to go through 0. So that's one of the reasons. So pause it right now. I'm going to leave that right there. And on this table, figure out if this is 1/2. Okay, this is 1/4. So this is 1/8. I'll help you. That's 1/8. You can figure out these, okay? So I want you to plot those points from this table onto that grid. Go. Okay, so if you plotted those points, we know that 1/2 and 1/8 is our first point. And then we go to the next one on the table. 1 1/2 is 3/8. So there's 1/2. There's 3/8. Because remember, this is 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. Our next one was 3, and that was 3/4. So if this is 1/2, then this is 3/4. Whoops, don't make extra dots. That could throw us off. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3. We had to make one for the unit rate. So the unit rate, that's 1. And we found out that was 1/4. Okay, and so we have 4. We have to do the 0 gallons. Okay, that's what our graph would. Now, here's the part that you got to be careful of. It says to plot. If it says to plot, don't draw a line. If it says to draw a line or make a graph of, then you need to draw a line. It just says to plot. So I'm not going to draw a line in because it just told me to plot. Okay, good. So hopefully that was helpful. That is session 3. The main thing with session 3 that when you take the map test that I want you to remember is take your time. Make notes to yourself. Do you see my first page? They didn't ask me any of that, and I started doing it. Once I have a table, I'm going to find that constant proportionality, and I'm going to see if it's proportional. I'm going to do it on every single one, even if they don't ask me. And notice I had to use all this information that I wrote down up here at the beginning. So it's really helpful to just stop, put down what you know, start making notes to yourself, and then you'll probably use it like we found out in the end. Okay, so take your time on session 3 on when you take the map test to make sure that you just answer every single question and show all your work, okay? Good. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, you know where to find us. Thank you.